Hello and welcome to ArtBeat. I'm Chrissy Thornhill and I serve as the Vice President of the Board of Directors on the Carson Valley Arts Council and your host for ArtBeat. Carson Valley Arts Council is your local arts agency designed to bring high-quality arts programming to the Carson Valley and Lake Tahoe region. We are also here to assist artists and art organizations in Douglas County. With me today, I have Bonnie Rogers, who sits on the Board of Directors for the Carson Valley Arts Council. For part 2 of our program, I have Barry Jobe with Lone Tree and Frame Gallery. In part 3 of ArtBeat, I will be giving you an update on the local art scene. This will include all CVAC and other community art events happening throughout our community in the coming month. So get your pen and paper out. We've got lots to cover. Hi, Bonnie. How are you today?
Hi, Chris. Great.
Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Oh, thank you for asking.
I really appreciate it. So tell our audience just a little bit about yourself. How did you come to the Carson Valley?
Well, it's sort of a long story, but I'll tell you, I grew up in Kentucky and then went to college and then graduated and came to California to teach and actually spent most of my professional life in California in the community college system. So I was in the Carson Valley a lot. And my sister retired, she and her husband retired here, so I was up here visiting over vacation. And I thought it was beautiful, and I came to stay when I retired.
Well, I know at Joyce's you used to always come into our Mimi Jobe card show, and you've been coming for years.
Years.
Yes. So did you start coming before you've actually even moved here?
Long before I retired.
Okay.
I didn't retire to 2006.
Okay.
And they moved up here in 1991. So I was here every Thanksgiving, Christmas, every vacation.
Because it's funny, when you actually said that when you were when you joined the board, I thought you lived here forever.
No.
That's funny. Well, that's great. So how did you become acquainted with the Carson Valley Arts Council?
Well, when I moved here, I started coming to concerts, and they would talk about the plan for the new arts center. And then Brian Fitzgerald came to a university women's meeting that I'm a member of and talked about the council and all that they were doing and planning and gave us a folder. And I thought, what a wonderful organization. I'd like to be a part of that. So I just submitted an application.
Oh, and you became a board member as of last year?
Last fall.
Last fall. Well, that's great. Well, we love having you on board. She's been a huge asset to us. So, what have you noticed any changes that have occurred since you've become a board member, or have you seen anything develop?
Well, I think I've seen a lot of changes, but I don't know. But I think the dynamics of the board, their interest in the arts and their interest in reaching out to the whole community is really vital. And I've seen that, and I don't know if that happened before, but I've really seen that. The participation with the Cowboy Poetry Festival last spring really gave an impetus for activities in the community. Yeah,
it was really wonderful to see just people starting to recognize the Carson Valley Arts Council. You know, a lot of people, we probably get 120 to 200 people per concert, but we really weren't getting that much exposure. And it seems after the Cowboy Festival, it really just kind of took off on its own.
I think people begin to recognize it as an organization, a viable organization.
Yeah, exactly. So what are the assets, do you think, that the Carson Valley Arts Council has for the community itself?
I think the greatest one is that it brings artists to the community that literally they would never have an opportunity to see. And even if they lived in a large city, and I lived in Southern California for years, and sometimes you don't have an opportunity to see artists of the caliber we see here. I was just thinking of the Argentina classical guitarist that came
in July.
Yes. You would never see that quality of talent. It was just awesome. And I think that's the greatest asset, either in art, the paintings, the children's activities, all of that.
Right. I always find that sometimes, too, it's hard to get to an event, but once you're there, it's just so wonderful. And I know that the Argenta Trio, was it Argenta Trio? Yeah, no, Triada. I'm sorry, it's Triada.
Triada.
Yes, and they're the same kind of way. They were here actually from, one of the gentlemen was from Brazil, and he had come here to play up in Incline Village, and we just happened to come across him, and he wanted to play an extra show, and that's how we landed him. And it seems as though the mountains really kind of stop people from coming over.
That's right.
So you got to bribe them to get over here, but once they're here, it's amazing.
It's amazing, and for the community to see that the audience that night was small, but the people who were there were awestruck with the. And I think the more we bring, like the concert series you've planned this year, to see some of the talent there is just breathtaking almost. Well, so that's what I think is really the asset.
And what's really neat this year with the concert series, we're doing a lot of children's outreach. And one of the first, Tiller's Folly, who's coming on September 30th, they're actually doing an assembly at Gardnerville Elementary School that day.
Fantastic.
At 1 o'clock. So it's really exciting to actually be able to get into the schools now and be sharing that experience with the children as well, because sometimes they don't get the opportunity, you know, to go to the later shows because maybe it's on a school night or too late, and so it's really nice.
Or parents think it costs too much. And,
right. Yeah, exactly. So what do you think, what is your vision for the Carson Valley Arts Council?
Well, if my vision would be that we could have the whole community aware of what's happening and have a larger audience. And I think that starts a lot with the children and with people coming to the concerts and then saying, that's a marvelous organization.
Yes.
Again. And then being able to build a center or have a center where we have the ability to have the shows.
Yeah, and I think too a lot of that starts with your volunteer base.
Yes.
Getting people to become active. And so if you're interested in, you know, spending a couple of hours or maybe just, you know, a concert here and there and giving your time, I know that we would greatly appreciate it, because it really is word of mouth.
It is, and I think volunteering gives you an opportunity. You meet other people in the community, so you get to know your community.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so now I know we've been talking a little bit about the Genoa Cowboy Poetry and Music Festival, and Bonnie was played a huge role with us last year, sat on the steering committee, and plans have already started for this year.
We've started planning.
Yes.
It'll be May 7th, 8th, and 9th, Mother's Day weekend.
Mother's Day, okay.
In 2011, and we've already started. So it's going to be another great event. Last year was tremendously successful for the first year, and this one's going to be better.
Even better. Can you give us a little bit of a taste of what's coming? Can you give us a couple of people maybe?
Well, actually I can't, because we haven't put all those out yet.
Okay.
So we're just getting out and talking with the entertainers and the presenters, and then we'll get contracts and things out with them. But we're going to have a Sunday concert for Mother's Day, sort of a brunch concert. So we're not going to end just with the Sunday church. We'll have a concert after that. So for Mother's Day, you can bring your mother.
That's wonderful.
We'll start out on Thursday night with the Comstock Cowboys. That's a switch.
Okay, yes.
And so those, I know what we're doing.
Oh, exciting. Well, it sounds like there's some really great people that you're lining up.
We are.
Some excellent changes from last year. It just was a really wonderful festival. If you didn't get a chance to go last year, you need to make sure you make it to this year. And if you see Bonnie out there, make sure you say thank you and hello. Because
say hello and say, good job.
Well, she does such a great job for us. So thank you for joining us, Bonnie. I really appreciate it. It's really wonderful to get to know you a little bit better and have our audience get to know you better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And part 2 of our program will be interviewing Barry Jobe with Lone Tree Gallery.